Guys, welcome back to the AT3 podcast. And you'll probably notice that Charlie, our resident washed-up professional competition shooter.
Competitive, not professional.
It's close enough. He's got like 15 plaques on his wall.
Yeah.
He's not with us today. He had some stuff going on with his kids he had to take care of after work, so that's normally when we film the podcast. But you still got me. You still got CJ, and actually this morning we were looking for a podcast topic, so I put out a tweet asking you guys for your AR-15 hot takes. I think we're going to react to some of these cold. So CJ, let's go ahead and pull up the first one.
Sure. So I think we're not going to go through all these because I think you got 90 responses or something like that. But this is a really common one. The one at the very top got a lot of retweets. 99% of AR owners don't train enough for a single decision they have made about their gun for it to matter.
So this was from Havoc21, who's actually, I think he's one of the guys in some of the Dirty Civilian videos.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, okay. So I think he's either one of their crew or he's been in a couple of the Talking Head videos. He's an Army guy. What are you thinking on this one, CJ? I want to get your take because for me, this is just like an Asmongold crew.
Yeah. I think honestly, a lot of people in the AR, and I found myself in this space as well, at least in this kind of area. They get into ARs, they get into guns, and they want to start making their gun look cool. And a lot of this is based off aesthetics. So it's like, oh, I want to get this optic. Like an easy one would be, I want to get an EOTech, right? Like I want to build my first AR, and I want to put an EOTech on it. It's like $800, holographic, whatever. When it's like, well, what is the EOTech actually for? And it's like, well, the EOTech is like a actual military grade piece of hardware, American made. You know, you can run over it with a freaking Humvee, and it'll probably still work. And it's holographic. It's basically what it is. It's a really, really nice red dot sight. And so it's like, starting out, the operators got them, Grantham, all these guys got them. You can get it in COD, and dude, I want that. But it's like, well, maybe you're better off just getting, a Hollow Sun or something like that to start, or a Vortex, or even one of our like AT3 optics. Like getting one of those to start, and then progressing as you start to need that. Because I think a lot of guys just see that, and then all of a sudden they're like, I want that because that's what the operators have, instead of going, wait, what do I actually need that for? Do I need all the things that an EOTech gives me? Does that kind of make sense?
No, yeah, it makes sense. What you're saying makes sense. I mean, if we're talking specifically about optics, if you're on your first gun, like literally just get a pair of $90 Magpul backup iron sights.
Heck
if your rifle didn't come with like a carry handle style iron sight or something, go learn to shoot with iron sights first.
Yes.
Right? Because if you're going to learn to shoot through iron sights, it's going to stack up all your fundamentals, and it's going to make you a better shooter in the long run. And then upgrade to like a budget red dot. I mean, if you're shooting 100 rounds a year, do you need a $600 EOTech? Probably not. Do you need a super fancy Radian Raptor charging handle to give you ambidextrous controls? Probably not. Are those things nice to have? Yeah, but they're not going to be the deciding factor that makes you take first place in your first competition versus being at the very bottom. That's going to be you. Now, if you want to get those upgrades because you think they look cool and you want them and you've got the money to do it, by all means, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead and build the gun that you want to build. I'm not your dad. I don't think Havoc21 is anyone's dad.
No.
It's like if you've got a gun that you want to build and you have the money to build it and you're not going to put yourself in financial distress to buy that gun or all of the parts that you want for that firearm, go ahead, build what you want to build. Have fun with it. But at the same time, don't go getting an EOTech thinking it's going to take you from being, Nick the new guy with his first gun to, like the most shit hot shooter in SEAL Team 6. Sorry for swearing. I don't have a better way to say it.
No, yeah, absolutely. Has there ever been a time where you did this, where you bought an upgrade or a piece of gear, and it was like you really didn't necessarily need that, or you
No, so the very first
outbought yourself?
The very first AR-15 upgrade I ever did, it was in 2011, maybe 2012. I got a tack latch for my charging handle.
Okay. A mil-spec charging handle?
Yeah, and it was just like, because it was just this little thing I could do to my rifle that the armorer didn't care about. This was an issued rifle, so I didn't have to like argue with anyone about it. It's just like this small thing, so no one
Yeah.
would notice it. And it was like me personalizing my rifle because I would always know which one's mine in the stack. Like we'd have like a rifle stack or something, and I would know like that one's mine because it's got the tack latch on it. So it's like that little bit of personalization. But did it make me better with that rifle? No, I was a machine gunner. Like I just carried that rifle because I had to. Like most of the time I was
You were
doing
never
my
really
job with
using that.
binoculars. Yeah. So it wasn't like I needed it. It was just the first thing I ever did. So that probably falls into that category. I didn't need a tack latch. I wanted a tack latch. So I got a tack latch. And that's fine.
Yeah.
In my opinion. What's this next one? X9?
Yeah, so X9, so this is something you can speak to, Josh, because I've never been hog hunting, but this is one all about hunting hog with 55 grain FMG is the way because they aren't worth expensive ammo. Is this true? I've never been hog hunting. I know you've done a lot of that in Texas.
I'm not gonna lie. Every time I've gone hunting, every time I've gone hog hunting, I've used 55 grain metal jacket.
Okay.
Because I'm not gonna take 62 or 77 out and waste good ammo on pigs. I'm just not in Texas. I think he's somewhere in Appalachia, so probably like Tennessee or something. This guy is from a company called American Lichter. They do like hoodies and stuff, so pretty cool company. But no, he's 100% right. Like you're gonna have sorry for breathing so hard into the microphone. I'd say probably 80% of the time, like if you're going out for your first hog hunt, someone's gonna take you out to a blind on a UTV. You're gonna go open the blind and you're gonna look at a feeder. And like you shouldn't be missing those shots from the blind at 50 yards.
How far away? Oh, 50
like
yards.
50 yards.
Okay.
So and you're probably going to be able to get 2 of them before they scatter. And then when they scatter, they're going to go to if there are other feeders around, they're going to go to another feeder, and then they're going to come back in 30 minutes. And this
Wow.
like
So pigs are not that smart. They're not as smart as deer or something like that.
no, they have terrible survival instincts. And in my opinion, yeah, they're not worth a more expensive round. You're still going to get. I personally have seen clean kills with 55 grain FMJ. On
Is
them,
there
so
is
they
there a
don't suffer
debate on
anything.
this? Are people like, no, you should do 67 or 77. You should do higher grains.
If there are, it's not something I've ever heard in the circles I was in Texas. But in Texas, there's such a problem that people are like, let's go out there with spears from the back of a quad and just get them with the spear and the dog to save money and do it cheaper. Because literally, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I think it's something like 50 to 60% of the population has to get culled every year. Otherwise, there's a risk of them doubling.
Oh my!
Because and again, someone down in the comments, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the sows can get impregnated at like 3 months old, and I think the gestation period for piglets is like 6 to 8 weeks or something. It's quick.
And they'll have like multiple
They just
out of a
go
litter. Yeah.
all the time. They're just always propagating. They're such a huge problem.
Wow.
So doing it as efficiently and cheaply as possible is the name of the game with that problem. And it really is a very large problem that needs to get addressed, not just from like it's fun to go hunt hogs. Like it's an ecological problem. So I have a buddy with about 600 acres of property in Texas, and he has an easement on his property for power lines that cut through it, and he's responsible for those power lines if anything happens to them. And every
He's responsible for those if something happens?
Yep.
Really?
Well, basically, it's like his problem. So every year he'll go out there, and you can see at the bottom of the power poles where the hogs have been rubbing themselves up against it. It's like someone took sandpaper and was just destroying these. And the state's like, well, this is your fault. So
Okay, sure, yeah.
It is what
the
it
pigs
is.
are your fault. Well, let's drop it down as someone who's a Mark 18 owner.
Oh man.
Yeah, so I'll read it for our audience. So 6.5 Grendel is superior to 5.56 in every way. Mark 18 should die, and 300 Blackout should take its place. Not sure how those two things are related,
But
but
2 opinions. This is Chaos Walker. Dark Joker 333 is the
Twitter handle.
Twitter handle.
Yeah. So maybe let's take these one at a time. So
You want to talk on the top one?
So 6.5 Grendel is superior to 5.56 in every way. To be honest, I'm not a ballistics expert in 6.5 Grendel. 6.5 Creedmoor is the AR-10 variant of this, right? Or it started out as 6.5 Creedmoor, and then
It's not an AR-10 variant, but it's a.
Well, it's like a bolt. It's like how would you say,
longer-
a longer, bolt action version of it, and then 6.5 Grendel is basically the smaller casing version of 6.5 Grendel. So I guess I'm not a great authority on this. I mean, honestly, I would say 5.56 is superior. just for kind of like what we talked about in the 300 Blackout episode.
Availability.
There's so much more available 5.56 ammo out there that.
And I don't know for sure, but I'm willing to bet 5.56 is probably less expensive than 6.5 Grundle.
Oh,
I don't know for sure.
It absolutely is, yeah. And it's like
I've actually never. I don't think I've ever even fired a 6.5 Grundle.
I mean, there's some more recoil there. There's a lot of other kind of variables there and pressures. I mean, obviously, you need to kind of have a whole dedicated gun to do it.
I feel like this is a personal attack.
Yeah, the Mark 18. Let's have you say something about that. What do you think? Why? And also, this also doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense because the Mark 18 should die, and then 300 Blackout should take its place.
So I
like
think
what?
I think what he's saying is that
A 5.56 Mark 18 should die.
The Mark 18 it's based on a 5.56 platform. So it got popularized in like 2004 or something by special operations teams in Iraq because they needed a smaller rifle. And this, of course, was before 300
Is that a
Blackout was
10.3?
thing.
Is that a 10.3 barrel?
It's a 10.3 barrel with an adjustable stock. So you get a really compact rifle that is very, very efficient out to like 100 yards. You could stretch it to 300 and 400 yards if you really, really work on it.
I see.
But yeah, I think that's the overarching discussion, and this is what we talked about in the last episode of the podcast. Like I think it's like a 9-inch or an 11-inch 300 Blackout is just superior in every way to 5.56 coming out of a 10.3
between
inch barrel.
7.5 and 10 inches is basically your sweet spot.
And I think why this is an unpopular opinion is because of the exact thing I just said. The Mark 18 is just one of those iconic firearms from the global war on terror. So guys, I mean, that's why I own one, because I thought it was cool. So I went out and bought
Well, it's kind of like what I said about the EOTechs and stuff too.
Yeah,
It's like
just go
that's
for
what
that.
those guys have, and that is, it's just an
Just what I
awesome
wanted,
gun.
so that's why I got it.
Absolutely.
And again,
Would you think like how would you say, a Mark 18 300 Blackout variant? Would that be like a good replacement for that type of gun? Because it serves basically the same purpose.
well, I don't think it wouldn't be a Mark 18 because it's not a 5.56. It would be
A Mark 18-300.
It would just be a short-barreled 300 Blackout.
Yeah. Well, okay, so that's pretty good. So how about this one? Buy a cheap lower. It mostly doesn't matter. I've heard this opinion a lot. I've heard basically a lower is a lower is a lower. You know, all the parts that go into it are the things that matter. But I was kind of thinking, I'm like, well, you have some other ones that do matter. I know Aero Precision has a few. Kind of the billet options. They have the integrated trigger guard, threaded roll pins, things like that. I've had trouble with those in the past. I won't talk about it. You'll have things like the Battle Arms development lowers that Charlie has for his like 9mm PCC. Those are pretty unique looking, and you have some kind of cool designs. I wonder what you think.
Really like the lowers with like the Spartan skull for the.
Oh yeah, or those, just
like
kind of
doing
cool
weird
things.
stuff.
I'm assuming Precise Carnage. Yeah, that's a sweet Twitter handle. I'm assuming Precise Carnage is probably like, well, none of that stuff really matters. I don't know. What do you fall on that? Is it like?
So it really depends. If you like, and this goes back to that very first comment where like 99% of your upgrades don't matter. Like if you want to build a lower receiver with a cool vanity mag well, and you want to spend a bunch of extra money on that stuff, go ahead, more power to you. I think at the bottom line at the end of the day, I think I was just talking to you and Kevin about this the other day. I was thinking about buying 10 lowers.
Oh yeah.
Because we had a really good price on them.
Yeah.
And they're not like the most high-end Gucci lowers, but I want, it would be nice to have 10 disposable firearms that I can just shoot the heck out of, and then when it's done, okay, well, it's done. It goes on the rack, and then, maybe 3-5 years from now, I replace all those parts and the gun's functioning again. But a lower's a lower's a lower's a lower at the end of the day, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah.
But it depends. Like, are we talking a complete lower, or are we talking like a non-complete lower that needs to get built?
Oh yeah.
Because if we're talking like the amount of stuff that goes into like a complete Geisele or a complete Daniel Defense or a complete BCM lower, it's going to be much, much different than buying like our incomplete lower where then you can go piecemeal all your own parts into it after the fact, and that's going to adjust the overall price of what you end up at anyways, because even with one of our AT3 lowers, you could probably still put $500 or $600 worth of extra parts into there.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And make
in
it
just
very,
the lower.
Make it very, very, very high end. So I mean, at the end of the day, it really comes down to what kind of aluminum was used, what kind of machinery was used to actually complete building that thing when it was being manufactured.
And do you think any of that stuff really matters in terms of like the end user experience? Because I don't think most people are going to be like running their whole gun over with a tractor or something like that, like what we did in that one video.
And we saw that with the Radical. That lower is fine.
Yeah.
It's absolutely fine. That firearm still functions even after all of that damage we did.
We ran directly over it with a tractor, like, you know, however.
One.
Yeah, a really big, heavy, expensive one.
So no, I mean, I don't have the best answer for that. I mean, if it's someone that's shooting 500 to 1,000 rounds a year, they're probably going to be fine with the $50 lower from Palmetto State or from Anderson, RIP. You know? But if it's someone like Josh Fralick, that guy's out shooting 10,000 rounds a month as a professional competitive shooter, might not be the best thing for him because he's going to be replacing that thing every 6 months.
Yeah, that's true. Have you ever played around with the polymer lowers? Have you ever done anything with those?
Someone ordered one of those,
Okay.
and it was on the Sunday that I came in during the sale, and I had to package one of those things up. I can't say that I would be super confident with one of those because it's kind of like you squeeze the mag well, and there's like flex in the receiver. I can't say I'd be super confident in it. I mean, I've heard they're not the worst thing in the world, but I don't have any experience with it.
Yeah. I'm sure they work. They're just they work for like lightweight, not very, what do you call it? Like if you're not going to throw it in the dirt and, you know, try to break it like what we were trying to do. But they work for weight savings. Because the nice thing about the lower is there's not that much pressure actually going through it. That's more in like the upper and the barrel kind of area. Except for maybe like the buffer tube. But those usually always have like some metal threads or something in there so that you're threading your buffer tube on so that it stays tight. This one's interesting. So backup iron sights are unnecessary.
Show replies. Did someone send the video? I actually saw this one earlier. So there was a guy, I saw this video. We were talking about it the other day up front. There's a guy, he's running a stage. He's like 3 rounds into the stage, and he takes that shot, and his screws shear right off of the optic, and his optic goes flying behind him. And this guy was an animal, whoever it was. I don't remember who it was.
This was during a stage, like a competition.
He finished the stage, and he only mic'd twice.
Wow.
And his optic flew off right at the beginning. So again, we're talking like 7 yards and in, so it's not super far that he's shooting, but still to only have 2 misses
he was
for
going
the
fast.
whole stage, and he was just running it.
Yeah.
But that when I see something like that, it reminds me, because there's a whole lot of people that think, oh, backup irons are useless, I don't need them.
Yeah.
Well, there's a saying, and it's 2 is 1 and 1 is none. So if you've only got one, and it's, you know, a red dot or a prism optic or an LPVO, and that thing breaks, if a screw gets sheared and it falls off, if a battery dies when you're out in a tree blind and you don't have an extra one, or your spare's dead because it's been sitting in a fanny pack or a chest rig for 2 years. Like that's when all of a sudden you're like, oh man, good thing I have these backup iron sights that I put on here. So I mean, you've seen my Mark 18. That's like my end of the world gun that I built, and it's got.
You got the 45 canted sights.
Yeah, I've got 45, and those are like very high-end metal backup iron sights. And then I've got the Trijicon ACOG with the RMR. Probably overkill. But you know, I'd rather have 3 is 2, 2 is 1, 1 is none.
So, exactly.
Probably overkill on my end, but yeah, I think backup iron sights, they're worth having if you're doing anything where you are working with the firearm or you're competing with the firearm. But if your use case for the whole time you're going to have that firearm is, I'm going to go to the range with my buddies. I'm going to sit on a bench. I'm going to shoot 50 rounds, and we're gonna smoke and joke and talk about the game while we're shooting. You probably don't need backup iron sights then, unless you just want your gun to look cooler.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe you don't want iron sights, but I mean, even then, what if you go to the range and your battery for your optic's dead? And like, what are you gonna do? Are you just not gonna shoot then? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's probably still good to have some iron sights. What I do is, on my home defense gun, I have my red dot on my gun, on my home defense gun, my nightstand, and I also have my backup iron sights flipped up. So if I have to grab my gun, if something crazy is happening in my house, and I have to grab my gun, I have my red dot co-witnessed with my backup irons, And if my red dot's dead or something like that, it's not turning on, something's going on.
If your shake doesn't awake,
If my shake doesn't awake, which I've never had that problem, but of course the one time when I have that problem is when something crazy is happening. I have both my irons flipped up co-witness. So it's like, in my mind, that's just the safest, most reliable thing possible is having a backup like what you were saying. 2 is 1, 1 is none.
Hold on, what was that guy's name? So this is Pine Tree Riot, at @PineTree_Riot on Twitter. He responded to me, because I brought up that video, he responded saying, I'm putting extra Loctite on now.
The red dot stuff. Yeah.
What is this?
I like this one. Joe, you should lose your gun rights if you put your red anodized parts on your gun. If you put red anodized parts on your gun. In fact, any color anodized parts.
I'm gonna hard disagree with this guy. Do I have red anodized parts on any of my stuff? No. But I'm building a 3-gun. I'm gonna build a 3-gun rifle this year.
Sure.
Maybe I'll put red anodized parts on that because the orcs in Warhammer 40K tell me that red makes it go faster and more DACA is always more better.
Yeah.
No, but for real, you're not my dad.
Yeah.
If I want to put red parts on my gun.
Here's the thing. What about? Do we want a distinction here between like anodized parts and Cerakote parts, or just colored parts in general? Because I'm like, okay, yeah, I kind of get red anodized because some anodization is not always the same. I don't exactly know how it all works, but basically when you do like the bath of anodization, it's going to be chemically somewhat different. So you could have, even from different companies. So people will complain. I know some of our customer service people have told me they'll get a handguard and an upper receiver from Arrow, like the same, stuff. And it wasn't, they didn't bake or they didn't batch those components in the same batch. And so you actually might have slightly different OD green components. So I can kind of see, this probably isn't where he's going with this, but if you have an anodized part from Timber Creek or something like that, and then something else from, I don't know, name X company, Battle Arms, and and they're all kind of mix and match together, and you want it to be like OD green lower parts or something, they might all actually look different because number one, they're probably using different colors, and then number two, they might actually, even if they are from the same company, they might not match 100% of the time.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I think his is more of like the Bubba at the gun show who's got the red anodized fake EOTech.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I can understand it from that perspective. And I can see there's like the red anodized parts stereotype that was kind of popular in like the 2000 teens, 2010, 2000 teens. But at this stage, I mean, some guys just, they want to build their firearm, they want to build it their way, they want to have it be theirs. And if a red anodized safety makes you feel fast, go for it. That's what I got to say.
Yeah, I think, what about,
Who was that that said that?
That was, how would you say it? The Sandalorian?
No, that's, was up one more.
Oh, this one right here. Oh, yeah,
Joe Dirt.
Joe Dirt, yep, that's
1776, is that what that says?
Joe Dirt, 1776. So go give him a follow.
We disagree with you, but thank you for the comment.
Yeah, I would still, and I would still delineate, the part I really disagree with here before I move on is any color anodized parts. What if I want to do like black and FDE? that looks cool.
So there's actually, I saw at SHOT, we actually got a flyer from a guy that's doing custom anodization, and he's doing like multicam, he's doing M81, he's doing all kinds of cool patterns and anodized parts. So in that stance, he's definitely wrong. But this part, you should never lose your gun rights.
Right.
Unless you've got like a felony or something. But that's a different discussion we're not having right now.
Yeah, we're not having that whole conversation.
What does Sandalorian say?
So Sandalorian said, most people can't outshoot a Blem PSA and overspend on a rifle. They are only going to shoot into trash every other holiday.
This is, so the Sandalorian is, I forget what, I think he's freelance now. He used to be with another company. I think he's on his own thing now. I think he's a Twitch streamer or something.
That's cool.
I could be totally wrong about that. I'm sure he'll do a backflip and throw a flip-flop at me the next time he sees me because I got it wrong. But, I've seen this sentiment a lot, and I've actually, in a couple of articles I've written, this is like, for probably 99% of shooters, you're not more accurate than the barrel that you have.
Mm-hmm.
Like and that's just because manufacturing has come so far since the 1970s, the 1960s, when the first of these rifles were really starting to get mainstream. That the rifles are just going to be more accurate than the shooters in a lot of cases, and that probably does go all the way down to like even the more mass-produced companies out there. They're just making really good stuff these days, even at lower price points. So, I mean, you have to be up there in the skill level to start actually requiring some like a cold hammer forged barrel, stuff like that. Free float barrels, like a free float barrel you might notice that a little faster, but like the difference between a regular barrel and the other one, it's really going to come down to durability. But I mostly agree with that. I don't know if that's a hot take. That's a pretty mild take in my opinion.
That's a pretty mild take. I would say this is kind of the one where if anybody is thinking about, oh, should I upgrade to the EOTech or something, like, get the cool thing, I would say take that $800 or $100 or $300. If it's your first gun, you're just getting into it, go buy ammo. Like, go buy range time. Like, go do that. Do a carbine class. Like, do any of that stuff before you go, I'm going to upgrade my gun, and that's going to make me more accurate. I'm going to go get a red dot. That's going to make me more accurate. Maybe a red dot make you more accurate. Maybe it might make it more enjoyable in some ways because you don't have to worry about co-witnessing, all this other stuff. But at the end of the day, you can get good with a bone stock PSA, $350, $400 rifle. You can get really good with that. Like Josh Fralick, a really good competitive shooter that we know, he could get really good and probably win some competitions with a bone stock PSA.
He could probably, without ever having touched it before, win some competitions with a bone stock PSA.
Because he puts a lot of time out on the range.
And just into the basics, or even Adam. Adam spends a lot of time just working. Adam spends a lot of time just working on the basics.
A friend Adam, another competitive shooter guy that we know.
If you're working on the basics, you're going to be doing a lot better. And at the end of the day, you have to really ask yourself this question when you're making an upgrade. Is this $800 optic upgrade, for example, say I'm going to buy an $800 prism optic from Trijicon, is that going to make me a better shooter, or would I be better served spending $800 on a 4-day carbine class where I'm going to shoot 2,000 rounds and I'm going to have a professional instructor literally looking at every single like mechanic of my body while I'm shooting and telling me like, oh, you need to adjust your grip this way, you're breathing at the wrong time. So I think
when I took my carbine class, like literally our instructor put a Bo from Defensive Mindset literally was like adjusting my stock as I was doing it. And like apparently I hadn't been doing it. I hadn't been shooting my gun right the whole time because I left with a big bruise on my collarbone because I actually hadn't been putting my stock in the right spot. Didn't know that until started doing that.
Even think about how much you learned just in 30 minutes with me and Bill.
Right. Yeah.
So Bill's another one of our friends. He's down south of Minnesota. He's got a little gunsmithing company. He makes custom barrels. So
I mean, and he's a trainer
the guy that
and stuff.
used the tractor to run over that radical.
That was great. Here's one that we could spend some time on, and we're actually making a video on this right now.
You got to go up one.
Oh, we're gonna go up this one.
Spike said the same thing as someone else, but Spike's guides, he's a pretty cool dude. He says most basic rifles can outshoot the owners. The people are obsessed with the operator image. So we've already kind of covered that, but that's I don't know if that's a hot take because it keeps coming up. Might be kind of a mild take.
Well, here's the thing. I'm going to agree in terms of most owners want to pursue the operator image because guess what? I'm one of those people. I love the operator image. I think it's cool. I guess it's me growing up on COD or something like that, or watching Zero Dark 30 way too many times, or all that stuff. But, and honestly, I don't think that's bad, and I think the whole operator thing may have a time and a place in terms of if you're actually training for that type of stuff or if you have a history of training for that stuff, it might be appropriate, but unless the country is going to radically like fall apart in the next little while, then probably is not all that necessary, I guess.
Warpath.
Anyway,
this guy is he's got some good stuff on Twitter. He's definitely
Warpath
worth following.
2 PT0. Go give him a follow. So we're actually making a video on this right now. We're in the middle of production on it, and it's a charging handle.
Yeah, there's a piece of one of the charging handles.
So right here behind the TVs here, we're actually doing. You guys probably can't see this, but we're literally doing some charging handle testing right now. These are some broken up charging handles that Josh smashed to bits. So a charging handle shouldn't cost $100.
What do you think?
$100+.
You got to be on the camera side of all this testing. What do you think?
Yeah, well, without giving too much away, I think I mostly agree. I think what we're finding is when you are investing more money into the charging handle, you're getting a lot of things that you might not actually see. So things like the metallurgy, the resistance of the metal to breaking,
And bending.
the feel, the actual locking mechanism, ambidextrous, and then at the end of the day, like the brand, you're also paying for that too. So that's kind of what I mean.
I think that's with everything everywhere, though. You always got to pay a little bit for the brand.
Yeah.
The brand comes out first and does something the best and kind of proves themselves. You do end up paying a little bit of a brand premium, and I don't think that's just in our space. I think that's
No, you're going to pay more for the
every
Apple
space.
name.
Yeah, like the DJI name on these microphones that we're using, or even on some of the lighting equipment and the Sony camera. Like you're paying a little bit just for the brand. So I think I'm gonna. I don't know. I don't have an agree or disagree on this. After having filmed this and having done this, I don't have really an agree or disagree. I know that I have a favorite charging handle, and it's probably, if I had to pick, I know the charging handle I'm going to use in the next rifle I build is a Breek.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm going to use probably a Breek sledgehammer in the build.
And that doesn't cost $100.
No.
Yeah.
But there is something to be said for the more expensive charging handles. I think the one huge difference we noticed on the sledgehammer, and we had the Radiant SDSL, which is their gas busting charging handle, is the way that the back of the charging handle locks up with the upper receiver to actually block that gas blowback into your face. The Breek was actually a better lockup than the Radiant, just from what we saw. And then I think
there's even a couple, I think it's Raidworks that, I could be mistaken, Raidworks that has like a rubber gasket insert that's around that lockup area, so that it's really like a tight seal, or tries to be a tight seal in that area. So, yeah, I don't know. Charging handles, those are one of the things that people will pay just for the feel and for the look. Another one from Warpath, handguards, grip stocks are just as much fashion statements as a desire for better performance. So handguards, grips, and stocks.
it's a true.
You think so?
I think that's a true.
Okay.
Because I mean, at the end of the day, like I really like quad rails.
Yes.
Is it the most efficient handguard? No.
No.
But I love the way they look. I love the way they feel. They're definitely, you don't get a better lockup. Those screws.
Do you not? You don't think?
Those little thumb screws, man, those things are always coming off. That's why when you see guys with like a really high-end laser or a really high-end flashlight on a quad rail, you'll almost always see, especially in the military on active duty guys, you will see paracord wrapped around that thing, or a zip tie wrapped around that thing, because those screws, even if you crank them down super tight, over time those screws are going to come loose, and there's like not much really holding on to that. It's just going to pop off of the rail.
What about more modern, things like the QD? I'm thinking like the EOTech lockup, how it locks up on the picket. Obviously, you don't put that on a quad rail, but
if that comes off, like your optics going flying. With M-LOK, you're going to start to notice it getting loose before it comes flying it off. Most of the time, not all the time.
Okay.
Sometimes it's going to come off, and the M-LOK is just going to, okay, bye, see you next time. But no, I do agree with this. Grips and stocks, like for me, what's my number one reason I always mention with stocks? It pulls my beard hair. I don't like it.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Well, and I think what I agree with this especially is the just as much a fashion statement, because I think like a really nice grip or foregrip could be really helping out with performance in terms of, I really like I always go on about the Strike Industries Link hand stop, they call it. It's kind of an angled foregrip hand stop thing. And, you know, I love the way that my hand wraps around that. It feels like I get a lot more control over a hand guard, so that it's not just, you know, straight up grabbing the hand guard, but I feel like I can just get a lot more control, brace that into my shoulder. You know, I've heard the term when I took my carbine class of ripping the gun apart. So you want to pull one side. I don't necessarily do this, but you want to pull the gun with your left hand out and pull on your right hand in, so it's like as stable as a platform as possible. Having a good hand stop actually helps with that, because then your fingers are going up against the hand stop and pulling
I
it
can tell
apart.
you that you will get exhausted doing that over time.
Oh, that's why I don't do it. Because usually we're out filming a video and I have to stand like this for 5 minutes straight while the video is going on.
While we're taking pictures.
Yeah, and that sucks. So it's probably just a bad habit.
This is definitely a hot take, and it's one that I agree with. Because I know there are guys out there that are like, this is the stock that I use. It's the stock that I've always used. And because I've always used this stock, I am going to shoot better with this stock.
And it has nothing to do with aesthetics or
Right.
whatever.
It's just like there are guys that are like the classic mil-spec M4 carbine buttstock is what they know, it's what they love, it's what they use. Same with the
rattly around one?
Yeah, same with the MOE from Magpul. There's guys that started on that. It's their favorite one, so it's the one they use. Same with grips. Like guys, they find one they like, and I'm guilty of that too. Like the BCM Ford grip, that's like almost the only one I ever use. I think I have one AFG because I used the AFG for like a long time, and then the BCM little stubby grip came out, and I switched to that, and I've been using that one ever since. But it's not really, it is an aesthetics thing, but I can, in my mind, I can turn it into like, oh, it's the best one.
Yeah.
Perform. But it's not like Escape from Tarkov, where when I put that stock on there, my little bar goes up.
Yeah. No, I think that this is a really good one. But I mean, I think this even goes into when you buy a stock, like, do you even think about the color? Like I know I do. If I'm building a gun, I want it to be like FD or something like that. Like that's a looks thing. That doesn't have to do with the performance or whatever.
The Hogue stock that comes in multicolors, you can get like black and tan, and switch them out. Like that's cool. I'll admit that's cool.
100%. The pink version of that, awesome. But anyway, most people, this is totally up your alley, Josh. Most people that buy LPVOs need a red dot with a magnifier at the most. I think this is a hot take. Most people that buy an LPVO need a red dot. So I think what is said here is most people just buy an LPVO and they leave it at 1x. They don't ever actually use the magnification feature on an LPVO. What do you think? Is that true?
You already know my position on this. So this is Shadzy1 over on Twitter. He's a great guy. I think his full-time job, I think he's actually at FPC. Maybe I could be wrong. Okay. But he's a really good dude. I've met him a few times. Good guy. And I agree with this take. He and I have shared this exact. We've talked about this on the range together because I had an LPVO in that Daniel Defense that. For a while.
You had an LPVO?
Yeah, he's like, well, why do you have an LPVO on that? And like, it always stays at 1x. He's like, well, why do you have it? It's because it was free, so it's on the opt. It's what I've got on this rifle. I don't have anything else for it, so I just put the LPVO on here, so I wasn't just wasting a free LPVO. But it literally could have been a red dot, and it would have saved me weight. Because
you are putting a lot more glass on there. I don't know. I think most people. I would hazard to guess that most people who do buy LPVOs are probably hunters. Probably, I would think.
There's a lot of competition shooters.
I think so too. But if those guys are buying it, this is probably definitely not wasted on them, because I think they actually are doing magnification based on their stage. Based on that, would be good to have Charlie to actually talk about and actually do different magnifications.
LPVO for competition shooters is like one of two modes: 1x, 8x, 1x, 8x. Because you don't have time to sit there and like dial it perfect.
No,
you're in a hurry. So just 1x, 8x for the options.
But like in my mind, it's okay. It's like if you're a hunter as well. Like the times I've hunted, I've gone out and it's been. Okay, what is that? Is that a deer way over there? Let me mag in a little bit and actually like see if this is, like what I think it is or something like that. Instead of having to pull out like a rangefinder or having to pull out a pair of binos.
It's a general purpose optic that does everything. So that's the win for the LPVO, and this is what all the guys that have LPVOs love about it is it can do everything. Is it great at anything?
I mean, no.
Not particularly. Can it do everything though? Yes. And like what he's saying, a red dot with a magnifier, there's arguments against magnifiers because now I've got this awkward magnifier that's hopped off to the side of my rifle. It's kind of offsetting the weight of the rifle. And then when I want to use it, I've got to fold it. If you've got a cheap magnifier, you might not have like an auto release. You might have to reach up there and actually yank the thing over to the side. And if you've got a really, really cheap one, you can only do that so many times before eventually you do it and you're still holding the magnifier after the fact because it's broken. But there's a lot of arguments that a red dot magnifier combo is what is better. But I mean, I think if you're using a red dot magnifier, you'd be better served just learning how to use a prism optic and figuring out how to use the Minden aiming concept to like really just learn to shoot with both eyes open. Because with a Trijicon ACOG or with any prism optic, you can get good enough shooting with both eyes open to where it's almost as good as a red dot because you're literally just you're basically tricking your brain into overlaying the reticle onto your non-dominant eye while you're looking at something close up.
Which I believe is how the original red dots actually worked. They just had a black, basically a black box on their optic, and then oh really? They actually had a black box on top of their optic, so like where the optic would go, with a dot, with like a red dot painted on this thing, and then you'd open your other eye and it would overlay that black dot or the red dot onto your target, and that's how you would do it using the Minden aiming concept.
Someone fact check this because I've never heard it.
Someone fact check me. I'm pretty sure that's right. Is how they actually sort of invented this whole idea of overlaying this red dot onto your target and actually aiming. Yeah, definitely someone go fact check me on that. I don't know. I wouldn't have just made that up. So anyway, yeah. So
man, who's this guy?
This one, Josh Brooks. Yeah, that was you. I guess you were active in the chat. Other people's opinion of AR-15s don't matter. You just have to like what you made and have fun. You want to expand on this a little bit, Josh?
I think we just lost a light.
Oh, there. We lost a light. Oh well.
Oh well. Yeah. So yeah, I tweeted on this as soon as I posted it. This was my AR-15 hot take, and it's. The truth of the matter is, what other people think of your AR-15 doesn't matter. As long as you like what you made, and as long as you have fun with it, you're winning, right? Like it doesn't matter at all if you've got a $200 poverty pony and you've got broken plastic 3D printed iron sights that look like this. Like, if you're having fun with it, more power to you.
What if you put airsoft stuff on your gun, though, Josh?
No, I wouldn't, because I wouldn't want to break the airsoft stuff.
Oh, okay.
It's not designed for that.
Yeah, so for that amount of recoil and stuff.
Like I know there's a lot of guys that put like Somo gears on, like Somo gear imitation PEC 15s, but it's not designed for that. And you spend $700 on a high-end airsoft laser because you want to do high-end airsoft laser stuff. Like put it on an airsoft gun so you don't break it. I mean, I know there's guys that have run those Somo gears into the dirt on like real firearms, and they haven't broken them. So I mean, I guess it says something about that $700 IR laser that looks like a PEC 15, but I personally just like, that's not what it's for. It's not inherently safe to put a airsoft red dot on your actual firearm. Like it's not gonna hold zero. You're gonna just not know what you're shooting at. But I mean, I guess if you're having fun shooting into trash with an airsoft red dot, more power to you. I'm not gonna judge you for it as long as you're out, enjoying yourself and having fun with the firearm.
Well, I wanted to talk about this one. Duty grade. Is duty rated?
Who's
or
this?
Duty grade is overrated. Rando R3Y, also known as American. So yeah, I guess he's an American, I would hope.
What kind of American is he?
Yeah, what kind of American is he? I wonder. So this is actually very interesting because we just did this whole video on mil-spec, also known as like duty grade. And I would agree with this in a large extent. Yeah, I think so. I think duty grade, I think a lot of companies throw that on their marketing material, even though it's like mil-spec, which is basically just kind of the minimum standard for any kind of part, at least an AR part or even beyond AR parts. It's just kind of the minimum standard. And when people who don't exactly understand completely what that means, of like, oh, duty grade, oh, that means the military uses this. No, not exactly. It just means the military has a specification and this meets that specification, which is usually a pretty wide margin anyway. So I think a lot of companies use this to kind of hype stuff. But people who know better kind of know better, like it seems like Rando R3Y does.
Rando Ray?
Rando Ray, yeah.
The American?
The American,
I'd agree with that. I mean, a lot of the times you want to get stuff that's like above and beyond that mil-spec standard. So you want to not only meet the mil-spec standard, but exceed it.
Right.
Like when you're talking about some of these, like it doesn't show on this because it's broken, but like
Yeah.
this Breek Warhammer isn't mil spec. It meets and exceeds the mil spec.
Yeah, exactly.
Like this is mil spec, and you can see the difference in how these broke. Just not to give away the video that's coming out later, but you can see how mil spec works.
Yeah, exactly. This is an interesting one. 99% of AR-15 dudes don't need to buy anything more than a Bear Creek. Oh wait, no. So we kind of already talked about this one. PSA, basically like all the same stuff. This is the one I wanted to talk about right here. So as civilians, rifles are our secondary weapons. Handguns are our primary weapon, and we should train with them more. What do you think about this? Because in a military application, this is the opposite way, where rifles are the primary.
He's saying as civilians, and he's not wrong. I mean, what firearm do you have on you right now every day?
Yeah.
You have a handgun.
A handgun, yeah.
And
a pants gun.
Right. So I have a gun in my pants.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is someone knocking?
Probably not.
So
Probably building back there.
For 99% of us, that is going to be a handgun that we have. That's like, that's what I have on me.
Yeah.
You got to be good with that. Like I'm not. There's very few instances in my life where I will probably ever need a rifle again, outside of competition shooting and the off chance that aliens from that asteroid that's going by Mars right now happen to show up tomorrow. It's just, it's not likely. But does that mean I'm not likely to have some kind of road rage incident happen to me where I'm forced to defend myself? Like that, I think that is a more realistic or more credible threat than something where I'm going to need a rifle. And so the martial application of having a pistol, I think being more proficient with your handgun than your rifle is probably more important. Doesn't mean you shouldn't learn how to use your rifle. Doesn't mean you should skimp on that at all. But I think there's more chance of you needing to use a handgun to defend yourself than you needing to use a rifle to defend the country from some kind of internal or external invasion or war.
Yeah. I would, I would almost, I would play devil's advocate here. It's like, in order to be the most capable of civilian, I would almost argue that you should have maybe just as much experience with your rifle as you do with your handgun, in terms of like training and experience, because that will be a difference maker in terms of when you look at things like organized crime and things like that. Like a lot of those guys are going to have pretty aggressive weapons in order that they're using, right? And so I've always heard, I think Colion Noir had a video a long time ago, went super viral of like why you need an AR-15, and one of his main points was, it's what the bad guys have. So if the bad guys have it, it's like to have a level playing field in sort of our environment, then us civilians should have it too. And it shouldn't just be like a gun that I have in my safe and I never actually use it, right? It's like a gun that I have that I actually have experience with and I know how to use it properly in a, dicey situation, something like that. But I guess I would agree that the most relevant gun that you're gonna probably need is a handgun. And there are fewer and far between cases that you're going to actually need a rifle.
If we take this, we break it down into, we look at it through a military lens as a civilian. You've got what's called your MLCOA and your MDCOA. Your MLCOA is the most likely course of action, and then the MDCOA is the most dangerous course of action. That's what your enemy is going to do, right? So the most likely course of action is I'm going to need to use my handgun to defend myself, right? The most dangerous course of action is I'm in a situation where I need a rifle to defend myself or my home from an alien invasion, right? So you've got really those two situations. So you're not wrong. You should know how to use your rifle just as well as you know how to use your pistol. But if you only can do one thing, you can only do one thing. Know how to use your handgun.
Absolutely.
Know how to draw from concealment. Know how to carry, know what that responsibility means to you as an armed citizen, and take that very, very, very seriously, especially if you are going to exercise the right to carry a firearm every day. Like it's not just you that you are now responsible for. Like if you find yourself in, God forbid, a mass shooting situation or something, know what you're doing. Or get out of the way.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, and all of those situations, it's always, I know us gun guys like talk about it, but really just try to get out of said situation. You know, that would be the most likely thing. I think a lot of guys, you know, they talk. I got really into bag guns at one point, and a lot of guys are
Yes,
like,
you did.
well, yeah, and I'm still kind of into them, I would say. But a lot of guys, bag ARs in particular, but a lot of guys are like, you know, who defends the civilization? You know, it's like, well, it's men with rifles, right? And so, should that be our responsibility as civilians? It's like, I guess that's an open question for everybody to kind of answer. But yeah, I think I agree.
It's a really good
with this.
statement from. What does that say?
How would you say Mike von Steuben? Mike von Steuben, I think is how you would say that.
Mike von Steuben. Thank
Yeah.
you for that, Mike.
Yeah, that's
Anglico Marine, Semper Fi.
Really good, yeah, kind of intellectual talk there. So let's see right here. They are nearly perfect except for having a rear charging handle.
I'm gonna hard disagree.
Who are they? They are nearly
He's talking
perfect.
about AR-15s.
Oh.
So I'm gonna hard disagree. I think the rear charging handle is probably one of the best parts of the AR-15.
Yeah, he
because
must.
it puts everything right in your workspace. Right? It's very easy. When you have AKs, you get into all so an AK and a Jackal or a Scar, they've got like a
side
charging handle.
Yeah.
You get into all these different schools of thought and how you should actually charge that weapon and how you should actually go through the manual of arms.
Is that really okay?
Right.
In
There's
terms of
all
like
kinds.
the order of things.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's a couple. So there's one where you take your firing hand and you reach forward while holding the rifle in your shoulder and you pull the bolt back, you release it, and then you get back on target. And then there's one where you tilt the weapon, you reach underneath, and then you operate the charging handle. There's all kinds of different schools of thought on it, and I think personally, and this is 100% me being biased as someone who has spent the last since 2005 shooting AR-15s.
That's a long time. 20 years
platform. I think it's so much simpler to use your support hand to come back in your workspace and just charge that and get back into the fight that way. But again, that's just like my opinion, man.
Yeah. Well, I think I would probably agree with you. He might be talking about one of the original designs for the AR, which did include the side or the top.
Like the Tommy guns.
Yeah, so, I mean, I've never had experience with those. I've never had experience with the side charging handle stuff. I'm gonna go with. I'll just disagree. I like the side charging or the top charging handle.
Like the charging handle.
Yeah, the charging handle, right? Obviously, I don't like the mil spec design very much because I've been spoiled with all of these, aftermarket cool things that we get to play with every day that are like ambidextrous. So I can either do my left hand, my right hand, or like the hook or whatever. So I think the improvements that have been made to the charging handle make the AR-15
So
perfect,
let's scroll down a little bit, see if we can find. Now go back up.
Was it this one?
What do we got there? 99% of people don't need a cold hammer forged barrel.
Cold hammer forged barrel.
Yeah, we already kind of talked about that.
Yeah, we kind of did. Mm-hmm.
That's N7 Narcos. You guys ever need night vision? He's a guy to talk to on Twitter.
Yeah.
He knows a few things. Oh, well, go up. What does that say?
You don't need 1,000-yard rifle to build a good AR. Nylon lowers with marine brass threads are better than metal lowers. So we talked about this actually. We talked about these pylon or nylon lowers or whatever.
What is your take on this, honestly? Because I've never used one, other than the one that I handled before I shipped it and didn't. I was just kind of like, ugh.
I've never built a complete gun using these. I've handled a gun that is a polymer base, the upper and the lower actually, and they're really nice in terms of weight. So you just have really good weight savings. In terms of if they're better, he says they're better than metal lowers. I don't think that that's true. I think that it depends on what you're doing. If you want a really lightweight, kind of OG what Eugene Stoner kind of was intending for it, and with a lot of the plastic parts and things he was using, I think this is a way to go. But if you're if it's a gun that you're doing backcountry or something like that, I did a bunch of research for a backcountry ARs and things. A lot of people doing this kind of thing for that, just to save weight. If you're carrying this gun around for miles and miles, that's definitely a way to go. I mean, at the end of the day, I like the durability and the strength of, aluminum or whatever type of, metal that you're talking about. Mostly aluminum lowers.
Maybe we should explore this farther.
This could be a cool video. Yeah.
A main channel video on the like a nylon lower, building something, and then maybe going and repeating the radical tests.
That'd be cool. Yeah, doing like an actual a challenge or something like that, like a radical, or even like a PSA or something like that versus one of these. Because you are gonna. They're also a lot cheaper too. So if you're looking to like maybe get into AR building and you don't know,
like substantially cheaper. Or?
I would say so. Like $30, $40 sometimes. Is what you can find some of those for. Not exactly sure which brands, but you can build pretty. If you're thinking about maybe I want to start trying to do this, but I don't want to like mess up a nice Cerakote lower or something like that, and maybe you start out on something like this just to kind of learn how it all works.
Like a practice build.
Yeah, almost like a little practice build. It's not such a bad idea.
What else we got?
Let's see. We got some cool.
Those are just pictures.
Cool.
Piston versus direct impingement. I mean, direct impingement is obviously. I mean, piston guns are great. Like HK416 is a legendary platform.
The MCX now?
Yeah.
I got really into MCXs last week.
I don't know about the MCX, but the HK416 definitely a legendary firearm. But the direct impingement rifles they're proven at this stage. No one can take that away.
Yeah. The direct impingement is just great.
Ooh, what's this one? Silent captured springs.
Yeah, so silent captured spring from JP or lower cost equivalent, something like the Armor Spec, should be in every AR build. I'm going to disagree with this one because I think that probably 80% of AR shooters won't notice the difference in shooting a silent captured system because you really have to be attuned to.
We have one right here.
Not up here, but I think you really have to be attuned to, number one, that sound that's coming from the buffer tube when you're shooting or you're racking the gun. That's when you're mostly going to hear that twang, actually, is when you're racking the gun doing dry fire or something like that. Because you're not really going to hear it when you're shooting with a gun going off and then like your ear pro and other stuff going on. So you're probably not going to hear it. But then also there is a difference in the recoil experience. It is going to be a bit softer, a bit smoother, better sight acquisition. Again, unless you're shooting more than like 1,000 rounds a year or something like that. I would say even more, maybe like 5,000 rounds a year. You're probably not going to notice the difference, honestly. But if you're someone who's shooting all the time and you want almost zero recoil and you get a nice adjustable gas block, get that tuning, get that tuning all straightened out with your barrel and everything else. You're shooting the exact same ammo. It's all a nice thing, and then you get that JP in there. That is going to feel really smooth, and you're going to get rid of a lot of that recoil. But again, if that's not what you're trying to do, then I don't think.
My favorite thing about these silent captured springs is the guys that are like, do I have to take the buffer retaining pin out? And it's like, well, yeah, you should. No, we didn't do it in the videos because it's kind of a pain to like take the whole buffer retaining, like the whole buffer assembly apart just so I can remove the retaining pin and then put the silent captured spring in here for 4 seconds of video.
Yeah, like for our builds, we're constantly taking parts in and out and doing all that type of stuff, so it's not worth it for us to do that. But we've gotten lots of comments on that, like take the buffer retaining pin out.
Yes,
it's like, yes,
you should take the buffer retaining pin out if that's your permanent solution.
Yeah.
If you're gonna change it right back to a H whatever in a couple of minutes, then
like what we normally do.
Yeah, then don't do that.
Was there one that you wanted to do really bad?
Yeah, spend more than $200 on your optic from some dude Tex or some dude in Texas. I'm gonna hard disagree with this.
You're gonna disagree with that?
Hard disagree
really?
With this. I am an optic snob. I own some very expensive optics. I think if you're doing extreme long range shooting, or even if you're doing like PRS, then yes, spend money, a lot of money on your optic.
More money than on the gun, basically.
Right, but if you're shooting 5 to 25 yards and you're trying to get into this, like you're very new or you're just trying to get into shooting, go get the Hollow Sun. Go get the Chinese made optic that's $150. Save yourself the money. Make sure it's the kind of optic that you want, and then really put it through its paces, and then upgrade later. Upgrade later once you've got. Don't spend $1,500 on a Trijicon ACOG, or $800 or $1,200 on an EOTech with a magnifier, or even $500 on like an XPS2. Like, get the $200 Hollow Sun, and then go get $300 worth of ammo.
Yeah.
And then go shoot. Like make sure this is what you like, the hobby that you want to do. And then if you find that like I'm doing this all the time, I love. Excuse me, I'm doing this all the time. I love it. I want to upgrade my rifle. I want to build like the best possible thing I can. Then spend more than $200 on your optic. Then go spend like a percentage of the whole total rifle build that you're doing on the optic. Like like my Mark 18, I've got that ridiculously expensive setup on it because it's what I wanted, and I know I'm going to use it all the time. And I used the heck out of that rifle when I was down in Texas. It's not. Unfortunately, and fortunately at the same time, there's no pigs here in Minnesota to go handle, so I just kind of have that rifle now. But it's still a fun rifle to go shoot. But
it looks good on video. We like having it.
It looks great on video. But yeah, then go spend more than $200 on your optic. I mean, right out of the gate, Nick, the new guy, you don't need to. I mean, if you're spending $500 on your rifle, spend less than $200 on your optic.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go with, I guess I sort of agree with you, Josh, but it depends on what you're doing. Like, it really does depend. If you're, like you said, if you're building an ELR gun, you need to spend a lot more than $200 on your optic. If you're in any way trying to do long range shooting, you need to spend way more than $200 on your optic. Like, that's just kind of necessary. If you are, I would say if you're a real serious hunter and you're trying to accurately take down an animal ethically, I would say investing in a good optic, getting good at shooting, all that stuff, that's going to be kind of the way to do it. But it's not always necessary to get the $200 optic if it's just like a range gun that you're going to go, shoot 500 rounds a year or something like that. And I would definitely agree with you there of like, don't buy an $800 thing, buy a $200 thing and get $500 worth of ammo or $400 worth of ammo. It's like, that's kind of the hard part about this whole hobby is that you don't just need to build a gun and then you're done, right? You need to build a gun and then you need to spend more money on shooting that gun, and then you need to spend more money on finding a range to shoot that gun if you don't just have like a bunch of land, or if you do have a bunch of land, then you're spending money on that.
It's like any hobby, you're never done. You're never done. You're never. Your build is never finished. Because even when it's finished, you get 10, 12, 15,000 rounds through that barrel. The barrel performance starts to degrade. You start getting some keyholing. Well, now you got to replace your barrel. So you're spending more money on it. Like it's never done. No. It's never done. It's a continuous. It's a continuous use thing, and it's one of the more important things I think people need to realize if they're getting into firearms for the very first time, and that is your firearm it's almost disposable, right? Like the parts will need to get replaced over time no matter how good they are. There is a lot of violent kinetic energy happening inside of the rifle. There are a lot of moving parts that are scraping against each other or having things pass through them like superheated gas, and you're going to need to replace those things over time eventually. Even with a very high end like Trijicon ACOG, right? The tritium is good for 10 years.
Oh, is that right?
So after 10 years, you're going to have to warranty the optic and send it back and get it recharged and probably get the tube flushed so that the glass is clear again. They might even have to replace the entire optic. Fortunately, that's one of the reasons why you should spend more than $200 on an optic, because a company like Trijicon has a killer warranty that is worth the money. Because in 10 years, when my ACOG dies, I'm not out $1,500. I'm out 2 weeks of the optic not being in my possession because Trijicon is going to replace all those parts. Now there's one more tweet that we've got to respond to. It's at the very, very, very top.
We saved it.
It's down. It's the second tweet.
Yeah.
The most important one. This is a guy named Hard Pass 4.
He says a majority of common parts are all made at the same white label factory, and you're paying for a name. That's
something of an open secret.
Yeah.
But the key takeaway before we close out the podcast here is you got to buy a guy and train with it. And that's it for us.
That's it for us. See you guys.
See you guys.